Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. Jesus said to his disciples, "You are the salt of the earth. But if salt becomes tasteless, what can make it salty again? It is good for nothing, and can only be thrown out to be trampled underfoot by men. You are the light of the world. A city built on a hilltop cannot be hidden. No one lights a lamp to put it under a tub. They put it on the lampstand, where it shines for everyone in the house. In the same way, your light must shine in the sight of men, so that seeing your good works, they may give the praise to your Father in heaven." The Gospel of the Lord. The Gospel and the Word of God we have just read from the Gospel of Matthew follows immediately the Beatitudes that were written by Matthew. As you recall, the Beatitudes are the program of every Christian disciple. Blessed are the poor in spirit, and all the other 7 precepts, so to say, or way of living for the Christian. Today, there is more than just asking us to live the Beatitudes. The Christian must not only live the Beatitudes, but he is also asked to be seen to be living the Beatitude. We are to show the world where we live that we are living the Christian life, the Beatitudes. And that's why Jesus today uses 2 very powerful images of nature: salt and light. Salt, today we are afraid of salt. But salt, in the old times, it was precious. Precious because it was also like money, a bartering and an economic system of using salt to sell and to change and to barter. And salt also was considered to be the most precious element of nature because it conserved, it preserved. It was essential for living. And so it was light, the sun. The Romans used to say, salt and light are the most precious things that we have in life. Today we don't appreciate much these images, although when electricity fails, we know how it is like, how we can live without it. You cannot put on the computer, you cannot put on the light, you cannot cook, so many things that depend on light. Today, Jesus uses these 2 images to call the Christian to be the salt and the light of the world. Why? Because to be a Christian is not a private affair. It is not something for your own personal use, but it is something to be spread, to be shown, to be given to others, so that everyone may participate, may take up. And showing to be, and be seen to be living the Beatitudes and to be the salt of the light and light of the world is not to show off, to say that we are holier than thou. It's not the reason. The idea that Christ is telling us this so that we bring the world nearer to God. This is the reason, the only reason why we should be seen to be living the Beatitudes and be the salt and the light of the world. Because we need to tell the world and other people that we believe in something that is not only good for us, but it is good for the world that we live in, for the common good. And how are we going to live this? How are we going to be the salt and the light of the world? We got the answer from the first reading of Isaiah. Isaiah in the first reading said, "Shelter the homeless, poor. Clothe the man you see to be naked. Enter not from your own kin. Your light shall light thy the dawn, and your wound be quickly healed. Cry, and the Lord will answer. Call, and he will say, I hear you." This is the way we show the world that we are the light and the salt of it. And we had so many examples in life. Last week we mentioned Dorothy Day in her time. In our times we had Mother Teresa, who showed how we could be the light and the salt of the earth. We are not Mother Teresa, we are not Dorothy Day, but we all have the responsibility, the same responsibility, to show other people that we want them to share with us the good news that we want, that we live. And this by living up to our responsibilities. We all have our responsibilities in life, according to our age, our status, our business, our profession, whatever it is, we all know what is our responsibility. And we know more because of our Christian faith. And so we know that these responsibilities that we have in our own living and profession, we need to show to others that we are different. Not so that others will admire us or praise us, but as I said, because we are called to change the world. That's what Isaiah was saying about in the beginning. The prophet Isaiah spoke in 2,000 more, almost 3,000 years ago. He spoke of changing the face of the world, changing the way of living, changing our attitudes. And then, of course, Jesus came. And through his life, he gave us the Beatitudes. He gave us his example. He gave us his way of living. And then he called his disciples. And then he called us and said, yes, you must continue the work that we have all started in the old times. And I have started. You have the responsibility to carry on with what we have started. And so this is not something that you might say, I have nothing to do with this. I don't care what other people, how people live, or how the world lives. I don't care for the injustices, for the violence that exists in the world. That's not my business. We cannot say this. No. We are responsible of the common good. We are responsible to change the world. And we change it by being the witnesses, the examples of Christ, by being the salt and the light of the world. Let's read together the prayer that we have on the screens. Christ as a light, illumine and guide me. Christ overshadow and cover me. Christ be under me. Christ be over me. Christ be beside me, on the left and on the right. Christ be before me, behind, about me. Christ the lowly and meek. Christ the all-powerful. Be in the heart of each of whom I speak, in the mouth of each who speaks to me, in all who draw near me, or see me, or hear me.